Hey, Back to Basics, it's Tanya, and this is Tuesday, and this is my blog for the Back to Basics WLS channel. And this week, well, actually this month, we're taking on different topics that have to do with like the back to school time of year. And this is a long topic for this week, so I'm gonna try and go through each question and answer it as best I can. When you were in school, were you overweight? And yes, well, I was overweight. I wasn't the largest person in the class, but I was always big for my age. I was always taller than the other kids. I developed early. I think I started wearing a bra like in 3rd grade. Well, I know I started wearing a bra in 3rd grade. I was always bigger than everyone else. When I look back at pictures now, I don't think I looked that big, but I was bigger than all of the other kids. I was bigger than all of my friends, and I was overweight. I did like to eat. I did have weight issues. My first diet was in between my 7th and 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade year. So it was always, a topic in my house. So, okay. So yeah, so I was basically overweight. I was definitely overweight as a teenager. I know in my freshman year of high school, my highest weight was, I think I was 292. And then that's when I went on my next like big diet, where I went to the diet center and I got down to 164, which is around the weight that I am now. And then I know in my senior year, I was, I think, in the 240s, and I went on another major diet and I got down to like the 180s my senior year. So yeah, weight has always been an issue for me. So yes. So if so, how were you treated by other kids? And I always had a lot of friends. I would always say I was in the popular group. So I wasn't treated poorly for the most part. Was I treated like every other kid that was an average size? Probably not. I can only remember one time in my high school years when I had something happen, and I won't go into it, and it wasn't a pleasant thing, and my friends that I was good friends with did come to my defense in this situation, so that was good. But I always knew, even though I was not teased, I always knew that I was not as good as everyone else, or at least that's the way I felt. I felt like I was flawed in a way that other kids were not flawed. So whether that was self-imposed or it was really just through life experience that I knew I was different. I couldn't wear the same clothes that the other kids wore. I was always very self-conscious when I didn't feel like the girlfriends that I had were as self-conscious. When it came to boys, when it came to like the preteen and teenage years, I knew that the boys looked at me different than they looked at my friends. I wasn't stupid. I was always a pretty bright kid. And so I could see it. I knew it. And I told somebody just not that long ago that I can't remember when it was, but I always wish that the boys would give me a chance and they could see that I was smart and funny and, had way more to say than what some of the ditzy girls that I knew were. But that never happened. And that proved to me that the world was not fair. It was not equal. I was not the same as everyone else. So while nobody really picked on me and made me feel bad intentionally, I knew I was different. Okay. So how did that affect the person that you grew up to be and the development of your personality and character as an adult? Well, there's like multiple things. I mean, I could talk about this subject for hours. But I know a while back, Phil from Fat Kings and I had a discussion about this very topic. And I think, I always say I wouldn't trade my past. I wouldn't have had my surgery any earlier because those life experiences that I had growing up as a kid and as a young adult, and even, in my 30s, they made me the person that I am today. And I like me, so I wouldn't really want to change who I am. But I do think that I felt like I had to work harder, especially towards the end of college. Well, even when I was in high school, I was always kind of like a born leader. I was class president one year. I was secretary. When I went to college, I was the president of my business fraternity. I always felt like not only did I have to be good at what I did, I needed to be the best. I needed to be better than everyone else, because I feel like I had this thing that I needed to prove that I wasn't, just because I couldn't manage this weight part of my life didn't mean I was stupid. It didn't mean I wasn't a leader. It didn't mean that I couldn't be successful. And I can remember when I was in college, my mom telling me that, and I know this is probably going to be a horrible story, and I'm sorry, Mom, if you're watching, but it stuck with me that if I didn't take the weight off, I probably would not be able to find a job, because people didn't want to hire fat people. And I know she said it with the best intentions to motivate me, to try and get me to be healthy and lose weight, but of course it was hurtful. And then my intention was to prove that I could get a good job and I could have a successful career, even if I was heavy. And not that I stayed heavy despite her. My weight was kind of what it was, but I always felt like I had to work a little bit harder and to prove myself that I could be just as good as, if not better than, other people who I was competing with. So I definitely think that having that kind of hanging over me pushed me to be a better me internally. You know, if I couldn't beat people with my looks, I was definitely going to beat them with my brains and with my determination. And no one was going to work harder than me. No one was going to outshine what I was doing. It made me very competitive in that respect. I knew I couldn't be competitive in the physical front, but I could be competitive in the mental and leadership front. So in that regard, I guess appreciate the weight and the way I felt, because I like that part of me. I like that I'm competitive. I like that I push myself to be successful. I don't think those are bad things. Yes, it can bring stress to my life sometimes, but I like that part of me. I like those characteristics in my personality. So yeah, I definitely think it affected development of my character. I also think, like, personality. I think, you know, everybody says you kind of develop more of a sense of humor. You pick on yourself before anybody else can pick on you. So, you know, I definitely, not that I wasn't this person, but I would definitely put myself out there as kind of like the fun-loving person, the person who loved to laugh, who loved to make people laugh. When I got to be, you know, late high school, early college years, or all through college, was happy to be known as a party girl who liked to go out and drink and have fun and dance, no matter what my size was. So it definitely affected me in that respect too, and that part of developing my personality and my sense of humor. But again, I wouldn't trade that. I like those parts of my personality too. So it definitely affected it, and I'm not mad about it. Do you think you would be a different person had you not been the weight you were in your youth, and if so, in what way? You know, it's hard to say, but I suspect that if things came to me a little bit easier, because of the way I looked, maybe I wouldn't have worked so hard. I also wonder, as a young girl, had I looked different and got more attention from boys, if I may have been more promiscuous as a kid, which could have been, you know, detrimental to my future. Who's to say? I don't think, because I didn't have that much interaction with boys as a teenager, I think I didn't develop the skills on how to be super selective on if somebody liked me. It was like, oh, somebody likes me, I better like them, because who else is liking me? So I do wonder sometimes how I would have developed those interpersonal skills with the opposite sex had I had more opportunity to use them. But I think I was a natural born leader. I like being the leader, which is, sometimes it can sound bad, but I like being the one in control and in charge. And I don't know if that really had to do with my weight or if that's just part of who I am. I don't know. I kind of come from a long line of women who are natural born leaders, and the other women in my family don't have weight problems. They never had weight problems, and they're the same way. So maybe that was just who I was destined to be, and this kind of just made me work harder to achieve those kind of things. But I do think that it did help form some part of my personality, but I don't think it was everything. I think some of that is just born in us. So that's my take on the topic for this week. Like I said, I could talk for probably 2 hours on this subject because there's so much to say about how our size and how people saw us and how we felt people saw us as overweight kids, how that affected us growing up and developed our characteristics. But I'll keep it as concise as possible. Y'all have a great week, and we'll be back next week with another back to school topic with the Back to Basics channel. Bye guys, have a great week.